Hey everybody, welcome back in the shed. I'm Troy and this is Dave, and we're bringing In the Shed back from the dead. So we've changed things up a little bit. We have a camera now so you can actually see us, changing the format up to where we're just going to talk about classic rock music. So today we're going to talk about
the top 3 bands that are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is a subject that I've been harping on for a long time because there's a lot of bands, a lot of artists that have gotten in there, and I don't necessarily think they were worthy over the ones I want to talk about.
What's your number 3 pick?
I'm going to go with Graham Parsons because Graham Parsons is so influential. I mean, you think about who invented like country rock. I think he did it with the Byrds on the Sweetheart of the Rodeo album, and the Byrds actually got inducted in the Hall of Fame, but it was the Roger McGuinn, David Crosby era, and Graham came in later and did Sweetheart of the Rodeo. And then he went on with the Flying Burrito Brothers and the solo work. And of course, he died young. And if you ever watched the movie Grand Theft Parsons, it's an awesome movie with Johnny Knoxville. He was really the forefront, and the Stones were so influenced by him because Graham actually taught Keith Richards some of this alternate tuning that he ended up using, doing Dead Flowers and stuff like that. So, of course, he died young. He died, I don't know, he wasn't a 27 club, he might have been a 28 club. In the end, I think Graham Parsons has been sorely overlooked when it comes to being in the Hall of Fame. So many artists, you know, look at the Eagles. Where would the Eagles be without someone like Graham Parsons? But anyways, I just think that it's a glaring oversight. What do you got?
I think my number 3 pick is a band that you probably don't like, but they're a band of the 80s. I grew up in the 80s, and this band was huge in the 80s, sold millions of records, still on tour today, selling out stadiums, and I would say it would be Motley Crue.
I knew you were going to say that.
You knew you were going to say that.
And they're on tour right now with Poison and everyone, and you know, it's like, I don't even know who's able to walk on stage anymore and play, but make money while you can. I guess my biggest throwdown against them is that, you know, they had that whole contract, we're never going to tour again.
Yeah,
blah,
but they
blah,
had
blah.
the contract with who? Themselves?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what a dumb contract. So if they go on tour, do we get any money out of it?
I just feel bad for all the people that bought that last ticket to see Motley Crue.
You know what? And they probably bought tickets to the latest tour also. So.
Oh yeah, well it's got Def Leppard on.
But they were huge back in the 80s, and I think I don't even know if they've ever been nominated or not. I have no idea.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, I think that's my number 3 pick.
I'm going to go with Los Lobos because they're awesome, and I've seen them a bunch of times. And there's really few bands that have covered so many genres, be it even like, you know, cumbia and Mexican music and rock and roll and Americana. You know, you talk about a band that's really, the first album came out in, I think, in '84, How Will the Wolf Survive, which is an awesome album.
And they're still playing, they're still touring today.
And it's the same 5 guys. They've
Yeah.
been around since the beginning, and they're touring right now. I think they're playing, or they just played the Kessler in Dallas, but I've seen them a bunch of times. David Hidalgo is, like, to me, one of the greatest guitar players. Every time when Eric Clapton has his concert where he brings in every 4 or 5 years or whatever, Hidalgo is always on there because he's a great guitarist. But the band is just stacked with talent, and I think they've been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame but never got in.
Yeah. My second choice is another band that hit the top in the 80s, but they weren't really considered a hair metal band. And I'm not even a huge fan of this band, but their musicianship is just freaking incredible. The drumming and the guitar playing and the singing. Iron Maiden. I think Iron Maiden should definitely be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And they're still on tour, selling out stadiums all over the world. And they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's To me, that's mind blowing.
Yeah,
I know you're not a big Iron Maiden fan,
No,
but I think you can respect.
No, I totally respect them, and they're in a genre that has been maligned solidly in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, just recently they got, like Judas Priest in, but it wasn't like getting Judas Priest in as a performer. It was like a legacy act or something like that. I'm not a Priest fan by any stretch, but I can appreciate the musicianship and the fan base and the fact that they've been just rocking hard forever. Boy. Well, my number one is going to be Little Feat. You talk about a band, and one of the criteria for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is like influence and album sales and, following. Little Feat is so badass. And, really Billy Payne and Lowell George started a band. Billy Payne, Waco, Texas, born right up the frickin' street here. I've seen Little Feat, but I never got to see him with Lowell George because he died like when he was, late 30s or something. Top shelf slide guitar player, top shelf singer, songwriter, everything about him. Paul Barrere just died, a couple of years ago. They're still touring. They're pretty much a legacy act right now. Bill Payne, I think, is the only one who's still original. One of the best keyboard players, piano players I've ever seen in my life was them. And that whole New Orleans funk sound that they, didn't pioneer it because you had the Meters and other bands like that, but they wrote so many great songs.
My number one pick is, it's not a band, but it's an artist whose band he was in got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but the singer did not. Can you guess who I'm talking about?
You got me.
He just put out a new album. Ozzy is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, he's in with Black Sabbath.
He's in with Black Sabbath, but he's not in by himself because he did so much more after Black Sabbath than he did with Black Sabbath.
Oh, he totally, I was in college when Blizzard of Oz came out. And, I was a big Van Halen fan and everything, and it was just like, man, I love that freaking album. Yeah. I bought it, and then Diary came out. And even the subsequent albums, with Jiggly and with,
Zakk Wylde
and all those, he's definitely deserving.
He's one of the few artists that they still play on new songs on the classic rock album, classic rock radio.
You missed him the other night, huh? I heard he was playing at the halftime.
Yeah, he played at the halftime show of some football game, and they only showed like 10 seconds of it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was he was lip syncing because he sounded too good, for sure. But Ozzy's my number one pick. Who are your picks for the top 3 bands that have been snubbed from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Leave your comment below. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree with me or Dave, or you have your own list. So make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.